Welcome to the Menopause Wonder Show, unlocking the wisdom and secret tips for flourishing during perimenopause. I'm your host, Miyako Hazama, on a mission to unveil expert insights for your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Ready to embrace your prime years with ease, more vitality, and joy? Let's dive in. Are you finding it challenging to manage those pesky perimenopausal symptoms? If you're looking for natural ways to relieve your perimenopausal symptoms without depending on hormone treatments, you're going to love this episode. Today, I'm bringing you an insightful interview with Helenita Jacobs, a certified hypnosis professional and certified holistic health coach. She'll share her personal stories and practical strategies to help you discover what's possible for you. In this exciting conversation, perimenopause symptoms relief with self-hypnosis, how to do it yourself. Now you might be thinking, really? Can hypnosis work for me? It's Miyako, your Menopause Energy Expert. So join us today is my special guest, my best friend, Helenita Jacobs. Helenita is a certified hypnosis professional and certified holistic health coach. And she has guided many women toward balance and harmony. Hi, Helenita.
Hi, Miyako. It's so good to be here.
Yes, I'm so thrilled and excited to explore this really fascinating topic with you, like a mysterious world of self-hypnosis.
Yes. Yeah, it does seem a little mysterious at times, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes. And I would like to ask you a little bit about sharing your personal story, because you shared with me that you have also experienced perimenopause and menopause symptoms for many years. And that's where you introduced me a beautiful book, How to Find Some Solution Around This Topic. So, Helenita, could you introduce to us what you do and how this topic relates to you?
Yes, I would love to. Like you said, I'm a certified hypnosis professional, which is not where I started out. I worked my way here, and my own journey through perimenopause and menopause guided me here. You mentioned the book, The Wisdom of Menopause, which I read. It's been many years. I'm actually 70 now. All of the symptoms are quite a ways behind me, but I learned a huge amount from that book to recognize where my journey was taking me. And getting to the point of hypnosis was really important. As I worked my way through, I guess you could say, I was in the perimenopause for 7 years. And even past that, once you get to menopause, some of the symptoms do continue. Maybe not as strongly, but you definitely change in that time.
Yes, because according to many scientific reports, women suffer starting from perimenopause, like 4 years or even up to 10 years, because after perimenopause, there's a menopause coming. During this process, could you share with us what you've actually tried, what worked and what didn't work, and maybe share some of the solutions that led to self-hypnosis?
Sure. So some of the symptoms that I experienced, I started at the age of 47. And I think I was done with my periods was around the age of 54. So 7 years where I had the main symptoms, and I was not interested in doing anything with hormone therapy, which is what most of my friends were doing. And let me think about some of the symptoms I had. Of course, irregular period. And then some of the other things that I experienced was, I'm going to feel a little free here to talk about those things, but like the vaginal dryness and the painful intercourse, that came really early in this whole thing. So in that case, we experimented, but came up with some lubrication methods that I still use to this day, because that's not something that really goes away when you don't. Yeah. And so that was one thing. Then the hot flashes, they were super intense. And that started also right away, and that lasted a long time. So one of the funny things that came from that, it was a joke between my husband and I couldn't put any sheets over myself trying to sleep. But if he just put his finger close to my body, he wouldn't even have to touch it, and I would just erupt in a hot flash. I know.
We can laugh,
and
but that's serious, right?
It is, and don't experience those anymore, very rarely, but it's something that I definitely don't forget. So the other thing that happened with the hot flashes is in my own body, I became very interested in physical activity. I think maybe wanting to see what my body was capable of. And so I became very athletic, much more so than I had been at any time previous. And that lasted actually through my entire perimenopause period, and slowed down after I reached menopause. Yeah. And
you're tempted to try more of the physical exercise to actually find some ease by moving your body?
Yes, exactly. It was moving my body, then the hot flashes and sweating profusely, they kind of came together, and it was more comfortable. I especially really enjoyed being in the water and swimming. And yes, and eventually
That's
even
what I wanted to share the listener and viewers about, because you were initially swimming coach. And I clearly remember the time we met at one of the events run by Brendan Bouchard. He's one of our mentors. And we were taking some courses to become like a certified high performance coach. But Helenita kindly offered like a free personal swimming coach, because I shared with Helenita that I'm afraid of water, even at this age. And I remember you beautifully guided me to even I can walk underwater. Can you think of it? Underwater, opening my eyes. And just Helenita is taking me by her hand, and I feel so safe. So that's what I wanted to share, that we can swim through this sensitive, even the frustrating period of our life, like just swimming through and navigate, just like Helenita showed me how. So I was so super excited about learning the possibility. Going back to your story of you're trying other exercises, is there anything that you tried and successful?
Yeah, to me, that was successful. Just moving my body was successful. This is a long time ago. I didn't have anybody like you to guide me through the menopause or perimenopause. Everything I did was by trial and error. I learned, I learned things like to do, I can't even think of the word right now, but meditation, slowing down, and then exercising, but also stepping back, and all those things, they felt really good to my body. And I don't know if everybody has that a desire to move their body more, but listening to my body was very important during that time, and not get frustrated either, right? I think that we take the perimenopause symptoms as meaning, this is horrible, or I have to go through this, or it's painful, or whatever it is. But I did my best to take it with grace and move through it with grace. I think sometimes too, like our ancestors, I'm not even sure that they got to really experience a lot of this, because they reproduced and then they died so much younger. And I always felt like it's such a blessing to be able to go through this time and to just take it naturally as best as I could, because it's part of who we are. And it's a building of our wisdom. It's a building of our intuition. And all those things were showing up for me during that time. And even looking back, it's just, I allowed myself to feel that and to let my body dictate what I could and couldn't do. And I was actually amazed at what my body could do. And that was super exciting. I had never done those things before. I went from, I always moved, I always walked, or I did some running, but I went training for a triathlon and then moving in all the way up to actually completing an Ironman before I hit menopause. Yeah. And all of those things felt really good. It's like they took away the attention from the symptoms that were bothersome. The lack of sleep was another one. That's when my insomnia began. But yeah, I think for me, the main thing was just the physicality of it and just keep myself moving. And I still do that, not to the same extent, but I still keep myself moving.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love what you just shared with us, because I see a lot of women also in the same situation, and it's our interpretation that matters. And often the times we tend to think, oh, this is so bad. My body is betraying me. And when I hear people say yes, you can take it that way. And maybe is that helping you? And when we just see ourselves, like you said, about the wisdom, and this is a natural transitional stage that women go through, and not every woman is different. So we have all these different symptoms coming up, or maybe not. But when we just think of this at a stage of even more maturity, and just allow us what's happening inside out, not necessarily like even like dry skin, itchy skin, like my hair is falling, everything happening at the same time. Yes, there is something changing in yourself and with your body, but what can you do about it, and how you can really communicate yourself and your body at a deeper level is something like you shared with me in that book of the wisdom of menopause. We can take it as our wisdom. Thing I really want to dive deep into this today with the self-hypnosis.
Yes. So I think one thing that I recognized then is how much more intuitive we become. And I think that in that book, it gets mentioned as well, how we start really looking at life differently. And perhaps a good way of describing simply that whatever we lived before, oftentimes we have our jobs, or we might be raising kids, which is what I did. And then we get to this point in our life where all of a sudden we recognize that we are changing. And so we're not just changing ourselves, but we're seeing things differently, right? And there's a pull to be something or to do something. And I think probably that most women feel that this change in life says, it's time for me to either do it or not. You know, that's one of my favorite things to say is, if not now, when? Because we get to that point where we realize that we don't have a limitless amount of time here. And we can use this to tap into the wisdom that's already inside of us. And hypnosis does that. It goes to helping you find what is actually already inside of you.
That's so beautiful. That's super beautiful, because I joined your self-hypnosis program and you joined my breathing program. And there's some really beautiful correlation between you're finding the best balance of your mind and body altogether. And you will be explaining to us what real self-hypnosis is. But before we move on, I would love to have a conversation with you about the word hypnosis. Because
Yes.
especially in the country like where I live in Japan, when we use like hypnosis, oh, it's dangerous. I don't want to be hypnotized. And there's some madman saying that, okay, I'm going to hypnotize you. So it feels like really dangerous. It's not like a common therapy that women tend to take, even to have a relief from perimenopause symptoms. So taking this word hypnosis, one of the questions that they often ask, and I just admit that I asked myself too when I first heard it, is that, okay, is hypnosis safe? So what do you say about it?
Yeah. I think I'm going to tell you, like, right off the bat, yes, hypnosis is safe, but I think it's worth me explaining just a little bit what hypnosis actually is.
Beautiful.
That will probably help alleviate that question. And I'll make it brief in a nutshell. But if we think about our brain, and there's different parts to our brain, our thinking brain, which is where I'm talking from right now, is actually, it's called the conscious part of the brain. It can only process maybe 7 bits a minute, and it's very small, but it's where we spend all of our time, and we're always trying to solve everything by thinking.
Yeah.
And so that's where loops get created in our mind, and we just go back and forth and back and forth, and we just get stuck in there. But then we have the subconscious mind, and that's where everything is stored, our emotions, beliefs, and habits that were formed a long time ago when we were children, many of them, because as children, we're not even capable of discerning whether something is right or wrong, but it gets stored in there. So you can think of that part as a hard drive. And so
that's easy.
Yeah. And so what we want to do with hypnosis is it's like antivirus software. So we want to go through there and actually be able to access that subconscious part of the mind, and then be able to maybe change the programming, reprogram it, remove some of the habits that we don't want to have anymore, things like that. That's really a very small description. Between the conscious and the subconscious mind, there's something called the critical factor. And it's a way of discerning whether the subconscious mind is going to believe something or not. But it's also a protective mechanism. And so when you're asking about whether hypnosis is safe, the first thing I want to say is that when we access the subconscious mind, which we do by going into a state of trance, and this state of trance is something that we actually experience every single day. Like, for example, have you ever driven somewhere and you forgot how you got there? You're driving and you're distracted with something else, but you still got there. That's because in your subconscious mind, it already knows how to go there. And so you've entered that trance state just a little bit, and you've been accessing the subconscious mind. It's the same before you go to sleep. You go through that stage. When you're daydreaming, all these things, you're going into the specific trance state that allows you to access the subconscious mind.
Thank you so much for this beautiful explanation of the hard disk, because we tend to put in all these information and responsibilities, to-do list of like our task list, and then our hard disk drive got like overload, and it sometimes crashes. Stop thinking. And whereas your subconscious mind, I love that access of the huge, greater opportunity of connecting with our emotion too, and the wisdom
Yes.
too that we're going to explain. But that's real because when we are in a really relaxed mode, when I guide my students to do the breathing exercise, and that's really opening up the space, the clearing our mind, shut off our hard disk a little bit. And maybe you said about trance, of the being in that trance stage through maybe, or in my case, the breathing and your self-hypnosis, you are guiding them to find that trance state on their own. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. You guide them, and then it just happens as you relax. And just like you were saying with your breathing, it's the same thing. You relax to the point where you can easily access that subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question of, is it safe? And I'm going to answer that also in terms of, because what most people believe is that they're going to lose control. And so when they ask, is it safe? I think that what they're really thinking is, are you going to control my mind? And so I just want to say that I can't control your mind. No hypnotherapist can control your mind. That you are still able to hear everything that is going on. You are still able to know how to get out there. You can just say, I don't want to do that. So when you have like stage hypnosis and Hollywood hypnosis, and they say, you're going to do this or you're going to do that, but that isn't really what this is about. And we're always in communication when we're doing it one-on-one. And the self-hypnosis is simply giving you words that are going to work in your subconscious mind to help you change your beliefs about something, or to take out some old habits, all those things. So you're really just working with this hard drive and modifying it, but you're aware of what's happening. So nobody's going to be able to tell you to do something in there that you don't want to have happen. So yes, it is safe. Yeah.
That is beautiful explanation because like I shared with you, we often feel fearful of losing control or somebody take control of my, on a driver's seat, taking me to the totally different direction. But as you described, it is we are the one, that we are the owner of our brain and we can keep control. But what you allowed or guide us is to have some of the word that works for you, not just to penetrate, but to get into directly to the subconscious without disturbance of your conscious mind. Okay, this is fake or this is something. Is that right?
Exactly. You just bypass the conscious mind and access the subconscious mind. Exactly. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That's so beautiful because what I often see and observe in many of the women that I work with, they are intelligent and they like to study, learn. And so all these information, collecting those data and analyzing, and sometimes feeling stuck in the mode of analytical mind too much. So is it working? Is it not working? Or even breathing, when I guide them to, just breathe the way you like, no. But how many seconds should I take in? Or how should I know? What's a score or whatever?
Yeah.
They are really perfect. They tend to want to try it perfectly, but sometimes that might be sabotaging, tapping into your wisdom or abundance of that subconscious mind power.
It does sound like you're sabotaging because you're allowing the thinking part to continuously question everything, which kind of puts a damper on what you're trying to achieve with the rest of your work, with the breathing and slowing down that conscious mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I also found is that even meditation, they're sitting early morning hours, like 1 hours of meditation, trying to tap into that relaxed state and dump all these kind of noise in your head. But what they found often the times, that's what they told is that, okay, I'm having like frustration, like a 20 minutes pass, 30 minutes per pass. Oh, I'm not getting there. Why I'm doing that? Am I losing my time? I should have taken care of my kids or like to do the house cleaning or whatever. So they feel like, okay, should I continue to do this? And they might quit so quickly. You are maybe showing us a new path or the new way that maybe another option that you can try is this hypnosis world and do it by yourself. Is that a self-hypnosis?
It is. It is. So you can do hypnosis with a hypnosis professional, and
Mm-hmm.
there you're doing a one-on-one session. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis because you're allowing it, but that's a little bit
I see.
complex. But when you do self-hypnosis, so there are a couple of different ways of how this works. So you can have audios that you listen to that put you into a trance state and that work very specifically on an issue. So for example, when we're looking at perimenopause, you might be having hot flashes. So then you can listen to an audio that brings that a little bit under control, or you're having headaches. There are hypnosis audios that you can listen to for headaches. And so bring you into that trance state. And then there are words that will then go into your subconscious mind that will help ease those symptoms, like anxiety, if you've got stress, those things. So there are audios available for that. And you can work with somebody and then they can help you with that as well. One of the things that I learned through this journey is that I like to work my way up in the skills. When Miyako was mentioning working with her fear of water, it was a skill that I wanted to learn because I discovered that so many people actually have a fear of water, adults. And it's a skill, and it's a skill that not many people want to pick up, right? Because they just want to teach you how to swim or get you to swim better, but they're not thinking about the needs that so many people have. And that is that they have this fear and how to address it, right? So I'm always interested in the skills that actually take people a little bit beyond what the mainstream skills are, if that makes sense. So the type of self-hypnosis that I work with is actually a holistic method. And it doesn't revolve around you listening to an audio to alleviate a symptom. First of all, you do it yourself. You repeat something that's called a recognition. And it's a set of words that put you into this trance state. And as you're doing it, you are connecting to your higher self. I'm just going to gloss over the main details, but what's happening there is that then you are actually moving out of your body, of your inside, of your brain, some of your old beliefs and patterns that are stopping you. And you're also able to put your own programming back in. Okay. So it's called Seventh Path Self-Hypnosis. And it's just a lot more.
Just to clarify,
Yeah.
Seventh Path is one of the methods that you teach for self-hypnosis. Is that right? Okay. Thank you so much for
that is correct. So it's Seventh Path Self-Hypnosis, and it helps you to be releasing all the time. And we call that like emptying the cup, because we have so much stuff in our subconscious, but a therapist isn't doing this for you. You're working with your higher self to clear this out, but you're also deciding what it is that you want to program into your subconscious mind. So you can help yourself with your symptoms that way by programming very specifically for this. So it's a holistic approach. And the reason that I like this method, but also this way of doing self-hypnosis, is that if you imagine that hard drive again, and if all you're doing is you're adding to it and not ever removing something that is in the way, it's not going to be as effective, right? It's like you want to clear out, like an antivirus program, clear out what's maybe not working for you really well, and then put some new programming in to replace it. So if we have a belief that our perimenopause is going to be really difficult, or that we're not trusting that process, those kinds of things we can be releasing while at the same time programming ourselves to see how menopause is a positive thing. It's this gift of a time of our lives that it's just unlike any other time in our lives. And it's our opportunity to share with other women, but also to help the next generations by tapping into our wisdom and then using that wisdom. Because I do believe that most women get to this point and they recognize that they want more. They want something more, right?
Yes. I really love the word that you used about like with the help of your higher self. And that may sound a little bit of too much spirituality or woo-woo, but that's also the word that I often use in my program or for my students, because as an energetic being, we have energy running through our body. And it's so natural that we can see ourselves from beyond the scope of like a skin, but more of the like you're seeing the mountain, like I love Mountain Fuji. You see yourself, and there's more that that's the skin. And that's where, okay, what if there is, like Helenita or Miyako said, there's a higher something for me, and I can also use that power to reach to more the subconscious side to get to yourself. You told us about the holistic type of approach to tap into our, to overcome fears like I did for the swimming with your guidance. So that's maybe like a new opportunity for us to just to be playful and see what's gonna come alive from you. That's so exciting. And tell us what, by doing this kind of holistic self-hypnosis approach, what do you think you can solve for women actually really suffering like sleeplessness, hot flashes, night sweats, all the things that like are the common symptoms of perimenopause or menopause, of course?
Yeah. And that's really a great question, because self-hypnosis can be quick, or it can be something that is a lifelong process. And so let me differentiate that, because I was telling you before that you can use audios that are easily available for specific symptoms. And they target just that. They provide relief for a little while, right? And if you're consistent, and I think that's a key word with all of hypnosis, all of self-hypnosis is consistency. But if you're consistent when you have a symptom and you seek an audio that helps you with that particular symptom, and you do it for, it could be a couple of weeks, it could be a little bit longer, once a day, twice a day, but if you're consistent with it, you will get results that way. The self-hypnosis that I talk about, the seventh path, is really a lifetime change that just your perimenopause and menopause are lifetime changes. And it's guiding you through the whole process and giving you the opportunity to live a completely different life. I think one of the things with my clients that a lot of the women talk about is purpose, right? And you get to this stage and you start thinking about, what is my purpose? I know that there is a purpose out there. I know that there's something more. And this is a way that you will find it, because the purpose is inside of you. And that might be something, again, that sounds a little bit more woo-woo and spiritual, but I certainly found that to be a part of the whole process.
Exactly.
Not just the pesky physical symptoms, but we also change mentally and emotionally and spiritually along the way.
Yes. What I take from your words is that, just like the breathing techniques that I also teach, okay, you might have very quick results of your sleeplessness, having the deep breathing in and out and you feel relaxed. But this is just like an opening gate of learning about your body's response and what does that do to your mind. And what you're talking about is you're really tapping to your directly with any disturbance of that really analytical brain. So allowing that is, of course, you want it to feel like hot flashes. But as you allow yourself to practice little by little, it's like cumulative effects. And it's not only, okay, I quickly stop and let's go. No, there's a very much of the depths, the beautiful depths inside what's coming. And maybe coming, you didn't know, okay, why am I thinking that way? What a fool. We can acknowledge out of our box. And this is something that also allowed me to really, okay, I know now the patterns of how my analytical brain works. So let's do a little bit of the self-hypnosis. And then with a little bit of the breathing, when I try a little, then my body responds differently. I feel better. I feel less tired now. So going back to my question, I asked, what are the a symptom we can solve? Yes, we can solve, but you really want to actually nurture and take this as a lifelong opportunity of really reconnecting with our higher selves.
You summarized that so well. And I loved when you said, it's opening a gate, just like your breathing and then the self-hypnosis. It's all a process of getting to know yourself, right? And getting to know yourself better and who you really are and what it is that you're really here for. And I just feel that's something that really came out of those years of perimenopause and then going into menopause. It's just a whole new way of looking at life, or at our life and who we really are.
And I really appreciate getting to know you, because Helenita is a living demonstration of how she lived through that perimenopause and menopause state. It could be annoying, but you took it in a way, in a positive, opening gate or pathway, that you get to know yourself. You found this beautiful hypnosis world and tapping to the subconscious. And now you are guiding those ladies to find their own purpose in life. So how beautiful is that? I'm feeling full of joy and hope.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for these viewers and listeners, wherever you are. I hope you really got this juicy possibilities of energy. So, Helenita, could you tell us about, are there any tips if you want to try, if I want to try this hypnosis at this moment, and okay, how can I do it on my own?
So, yeah, I would say that if you've never done hypnosis before,
Mhm.
you can go and just look up one of those audios that targets a specific symptom and just try it out. That's a really easy way to do it. It feels like a guided meditation. And Miyako was describing earlier how in meditation you're trying to be quiet. Well, you don't have to be, or you will be quiet, but there's somebody that is going to be guiding you and talking to you. So that's a really easy way to get started. And then if you find that you want to do more and you're open to the possibility of knowing more about yourself and what you're looking for in life and to feel better all around, then you could learn how to do the seventh path, self-hypnosis. And I teach classes for that. So that's another way of doing it. But yeah, I would just start with testing it out, especially if you've never done any hypnosis.
Yes, be playful. I love your advice.
Yeah.
And one little tip that I can share with you, with the listeners and viewers, is that for selecting the right audio, I've also searched the Google and picked up and bought purchased some or 3 or 4 programs. But what I found was that if I don't like the voice that has been conveyed, okay, you're relaxed and you say, oh, I'm not that tired. So it's your vibe is not matching. And I feel like, okay, I don't want to listen. So my best tip is that you can have some like a sample audio. And if that voice resonate with you and you feel, okay, I feel relaxed. Like when I hear Helenita's voice, I feel so relaxed and safe. So I would love for you to pick your favorite voice and teacher or guide who matches your like emotion. And if you feel good, then okay, you'll feel better.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you feel safe and you have the results. Is that right? Have I experienced that?
It's so
Experienced
important.
it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's so important. And I do find that very often you can listen to a sample. And so as you Google
I
it,
see.
you can listen to a sample audio.
Yes, I
Yeah.
found that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And definitely there are some voices that can be very annoying for you and then might work very well for somebody else, right? Because it is about the voice and it is
Yes,
about the
it is.
demeanor and yeah.
It is about
Yes, for sure.
what you like and what you don't like, and be honest with yourself. And I highly
Yeah.
recommend Helenita's like voice. It's so nurturing. I feel safe. I guided. So Helenita, how people can connect with you, find you and connect with you?
Yes. My website is helenitajacobs.com. And within there, I have some different things that I offer, but also there is a contact page and you can contact me in there and I am happy to get back with you and talk to you. Plus, I think in the shows, I will always have something that that will be an offer for Miyako's listeners because I would love for you to try self-hypnosis. I think it's a wonderful tool and it's just a wonderful way of helping you through these stages that are not always super pleasant, but that we all have to go through, right? I think every woman has to go through that at some point, right? Yeah.
And we can really swim through these sensitive stages in life with more grace and actually also expansion for your life, not shrinking for the next stage, because we all appreciate our knowledge base, our wisdom. And once we allow our subconscious power to play with us, then what would that look like for you? What would be possible for you? And I'm super excited. So thank you so much, Helenita, for sharing your amazing, profound wisdom of how you find this self-hypnosis and how this can really help women find, I should say, find themselves, real self, while maybe relieving their symptoms in this, if you are like feeling that frustration right now. But the end comes more of the juicy things and this self-hypnosis works as an open gate. Thank you so much. So is there any last message that you would like people to listen to?
Sure. I think, you were mentioning the word grace. Take this time and be graceful through it. It's part of who you are, and it's just enjoy that part. Even though the symptoms might not be pleasant, there's just so much more to it, right? And you've got wisdom inside you, and let that wisdom come out. Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you,
I
Miyako.
got like chills all around because we are so fortunate and blessed that we have many role models like you, Helenita, who already passed through and enjoying and flourishing this stage, the next stages in life. So why not us? So thank you so much,
Right.
Helenita. And
Thank you,
see
Miyako.
you. Yes, we'll see you soon in our coming episode. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Today, we gained a deeper understanding of how self-hypnosis can truly make a difference thanks to Helenita. Remember, hypnosis is not about losing control of yourself and hand it over to somebody else. Instead, it's a powerful tool for connecting with your higher self and leveraging your subconscious mind so you can overcome perimenopausal challenges and achieve a beautiful balance between your mind and body throughout this life stage. How amazing is that? We'd love to know what resonated with you most from this interview. Please share your thought and biggest takeaway in the comments below. Your feedback helps us continue to bring even more insightful and valuable content. Are you ready to take charge of your energy in your prime years and live life on your own terms? Sign up for my free video training series and discover the incredible power you already have to revitalize your body and mind during perimenopause. You can find the link in the description below. You'll learn the secrets that Asian women have been using for thousands of years to alleviate perimenopausal symptoms naturally and feel more alive, vibrant, and in control of your health. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode.